Hello everybody, John here, and today on To The Garage we're looking at a secret of the XK8 that's a little more unusual than most. The XK8's secret theme tune? Well, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. This channel is not really about me. It's about projects in a garage, it's about the XK8, and it's about the fantastic subscribership we have. And this particular episode is only possible because of 3 of our fantastic subscribers. And that is Terry Collins, Gerard Booth and Dr. Simon Hall. Well, this story very much starts with Terry Collins. And this is his beautiful, beautiful car, an early XK8. And Terry, very much like myself, is a real fan of the obscure accessories. And one of the ones that he's found out recently is he's suffered a couple of fog light breakages. The fog lights on the Mark 1 XK8s are very susceptible to stone damage because they are forward facing and glass fronted. So looking at the price of replacing those, over £115, and he's done it twice, he decided to track down the accessory lens protectors that Jaguar used to offer. His searches took him through Holland to a dealer who suggested got some, but when it came to actually ordering them, they didn't. And eventually tracked down, of all places, Terry's Jaguar in the USA, who had a pair, and he's bought those. Terry is also the guy who's tipped me off on a couple of my random accessories. Remember when I did the bonkers bumper accessory? The security bolt system that enables you to effectively lock your rear bumper onto your XK8. Genuine accessory offered by Jaguar right from the beginning of production, and I had to own them and fit them just because it's such an amusing thing. Why would anybody want to build security bolts for their bumpers? Craziness. Well, most recently Terry contacted me to say that actually his wife had located for him a brilliant little Jaguar piece of memorabilia, and that was some sheet music for the fanfare for the Jaguar XK8, and he tipped me off as to where I could get a copy. Now, of course, neither of us was going to be able to leave it there. We needed to hear this thing performed. I personally can't read normally annotated music and imagine what it sounds like, so that wouldn't do. And we need to know a little bit more about what is this thing, how was it created, what was it for. So first thing I did was contact another friend of the channel, and that was Gerard Booth. Gerard is not only an XK8 owner and fan, but also has an X308, the XJ of the same period, that shares a lot of its design language and architecture with the XK8, so he's got a magnificent little fleet. He also won the 2021 XK8 photo competition, so his car is featured on the 2022 XK8 calendar from To The Garage. Now, Gerard's day job is working with orchestras, brass people in all sorts of magnificent venues. So he said, yeah, I should be able to get a recording done of, I'll gather together 4 trombone players and we'll get that recorded and we can see how it is. And he did that. Fantastic. And thanks to everybody who helped him out. But as he put it, the sound quality was not good, based on what he was using to film it at the time. So his workaround, being a rather resourceful chap, he's thought, 4 trombone players, where am I going to find them? Oh no, I'll be them all. So he is very keen for me to point out to you guys that he is not a trombone player, he's a tuba player, but I think he's been rather humble. So he managed to record himself playing all the different parts of the trombone quartet on 2 different instruments, and then using the skills of his daughter's boyfriend, Lawrence, who's very good at the techie stuff, do a multi-layer recording of the sound and the video to put it all together to create what we'll hear very shortly. Lawrence is another YouTuber, and if you're into 4x4s, I highly recommend you checking out his channel, Lawrence and the Machine. I think he's going to go a long way. He's got a certain style about him that means he will build a very devoted following very quickly in the sort of 4x4 Land Rover sphere of YouTube. So the third part of this story is Dr. Simon Hall. So we couldn't leave it just there. As I said, we needed to know more. And fortunately, when I started digging around, Dr. Simon Hall is quite a high-profile figure, so he's relatively easy to find online. Initially, I had no idea who he was, so I thought, oh, maybe he was quite an old gent when he created the Fanfare and he's not going to be around. Nope, quite a young gentleman at the time, still around, and I was able to find his email address. What follows is the emails from me to him and from him to me, and I was very polite but asked him if he wouldn't mind answering 5 questions for us. I asked how you were approached to create the piece. Were you present when the actual launch with the Fanfare occurred? Was it performed live? Who performed it? Is this something normal? Are you aware of any other car launches that commission pieces of music like this? And was it particularly prescribed? You know, did somebody say, I want it to be 4 trombones doing a particular thing? Or did you have a free hand in it? So I put this out there, hopefully, not really expecting to get a response, if I'm absolutely honest, but hoping to. And we did. I will read his response, as I know that subtitles aren't everybody's things. Hey John, good to hear from you, and thank you for taking the time to seek me out. Yes, you've got the right Simon Hall. Just checked out the YouTube channel. Good stuff. Would love to hear your friend's rendition. That's all pressure, Gerard. To answer your questions, this was played at the Midlands launch of the vehicle. If I remember correctly, there were a number of simultaneous on-the-ground launches at various dealerships around the UK that involved a dinner for invited special guests and a grand unveiling of the original car. At the time, I was playing with a professional trombone quartet called Slide Out. There is a bylaw that says all trombone quartets have to have a pun in their name. And we got booked via our agent at the time to play at the dealership on the Warwick Road in Hockley Heath, just outside Birmingham. I think I hear a Midlands twang in your accent, so you probably know where I mean. I know exactly where you mean. And well spotted, because my accent is cut glass, as you know. They wanted some general background music for milling around and dinner, plus some sort of fanfare for the unveiling. And we hadn't got anything particular or particularly appropriate in our repertoire, so I composed the fanfare, which then got picked up by the publisher Warwick Music. Since then, the piece has been performed all over the world by different groups, though I don't think people are ever particularly aware of the backstory to the piece of music. In terms of other car launches commissioning music, they usually commission media composers to produce music that tends to be played on adverts and at launch events and becomes part of their branding, or they license existing tracks. So it's all pre-recorded stuff that tends to get played out. I'm happy to chat or answer any additional questions. I love Jags, especially the XK8 and XKRs, but I've never actually owned one. I've a mechanic friend who swears his XKR is the best car in his collection. I'm very envious. I'll be making sure I subscribe to the channel though. Cheers for now, Simon. Well, thank you so much for that generous reply, Simon. And if Simon is watching on the premiere, then obviously feel free to ask more questions, guys, in the chat. If not, then put them in the comments and maybe you'll see them later and pick them up. And if not, then maybe I'll bundle some of the interesting ones and forward them to him on an email. and he can choose whether he'd like to respond to those. So thank you so much. It's now that time though. Let's hear Fanfare for the XK8 performed by Gerard Booth, written by Simon Hall, and until now a secret even from me, a mega XK8 fan. Well, I hope you're all going to join in with me with heartfelt thanks to Terry, to Gerard and Dr. Simon for making that little thing possible. And particularly to Gerard, who doesn't play trombone. That's a brilliant little piece of joy, the sorts of nuggets that come out of playing around with this channel and that really make me smile. Now, I just need to round off on something not quite so cheery, but those of you who've watched the last episode and joined in on the live chat or reviewed the live chat, some of you will already know that myself and Joe had some pretty sad news a couple of days ago. And because she was very often popping up on the channel, I thought I'd better share it. And that is, we lost our little doggy. So Molly the Westie, who was 11, passed away a couple of days ago. It was not expected. It was not something we saw coming, and it was over quite quickly. So the beauty of that is no pain involved except for us. She had been Joe's constant companion for those 11 years. And whenever I was at home, she was always buzzing around under the table in the office, ruining the sound on my voiceovers, or watching me working on the driver in the garage, always wanting to play, and was my genuine little buddy. And you see her in quite a few of the videos of the motorhomes and camper vans if you're looking for her, popping up from behind seats and looking out windows, and occasionally riding around in the back of an XK8 looking like the cat that got the cream. So she will be hugely missed, and thank you to everybody who has shared their genuine warmth, affection and sympathies towards the situation. Well, that's that. End of an era. And with that, I'll leave you for another day. The next video may not be quite as soon. See you guys. Bye.